At this time, we'll call to order the code enforcement board meeting for the month of June 2023. Call to order, please, and roll call.
Bill Dixon,
Here.
John Stroud,
Here.
Lisa Onan,
Here.
Tim Skinner, Alan Taylor.
Here. Under old business, I was absent at the last meeting, so John, is there any old business that needs to be taken up with this board?
No, sir, just the approval of the minutes.
Okay. You all have received the minutes via email. Have you read those minutes? And I would entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any question? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Unanimous. Under new business, Steve, do we have a code enforcement report?
Well, we have, report would be Table B, Table C, citations withdrawn are 23, and the uncontested citations are 56. Not a whole lot to report. I think most of it's probably grass-related.
And the drought's helping that.
Yes, sir. That's helping a lot. believe it or
My
not.
grass has even quit growing.
Yeah,
All
most
right.
everyone's grass is slowing down.
All right. Well, we have no contested citations, so is there any other new business to conduct?
I will just tell you that we are delaying again on our mass foreclosure because today someone came in and paid all the liens, all the taxes owed on one of the properties that was included. So we've had to,
Wow.
and that was just this morning. This morning. And so we are looking, we have an alternative list, but we're going to have to decide which one from the alternative list to shift over, and then the title opinions will have to be run before we can file that lawsuit. So we hope, we talked to the attorney's office, we hope by July to get it filed, but we continue to have people coming in at the last minute and paying the taxes that are owed. So,
Well, the city will take the money.
But
write
does
a
the,
check and
but
we'll
the
do it.
process starts over again.
The process starts over again.
Because then they don't pay them again.
I
Yeah.
don't guess there's any way you could do an agreed order to where even after they paid it, you know, say, up, you miss 1 month, it goes back on.
No. But, you know, the good news is, like, for this one, it was a person had passed away, and the family had just not done anything with it. And so they're motivating now to sell it. They're going to put it on, or they told us, you know, it was just, I think it was one of those that just had been, you know, father died, no one was really interested. And so now, when they realized, when they got the complaint, you know, the draft of the complaint and realized it was going to happen, then they came in and got it taken care of, and they told us that they intend to sell it. So, you know,
Well, neat.
and that's a faster turnaround, plus it gives us another position to get another piece of property that is vacant and needs help on it. So, you know, we have to look at it on the bright side, but it does slow down the process.
Well, I'd like to set a record with this meeting, but I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Number one, the building adjacent to New Look Cleaners on Second Street,
Yes.
is that under renovation? What's going on there? Do we
The
know?
one that caught on fire, is that what you're
Well,
talking about?
the one that had no windows for a while. Pigeons
It's the
are
one
coming
that
and
caught on
going,
fire.
and
Yeah, that did catch on fire. The property owner's spouse, who was managing the property, passed away. And then there was some interest in having the city pick it up, which, no interest.
They
Not
can
by
approach,
them. They wanted the city to pick it up.
they approached the city to see if the city might be interested in purchasing the property.
But-
The city is.
Yeah, there's no interest. So I think from that standpoint, they're just don't know what to do with the property.
well, is the building not condemnable as in the condition that it's in?
Well, the one area where there was fire damage, it was, I would say, not what I would call structurally unsound. There was surface damage, like drywall. There was a chair, there was an ashtray and a chair, and that's where it started. I don't know which one, you'd have to talk to the fire chief now, but in that area it started, and it kind of, smoke went up through the building. The smoke damage, I mean, it may have gone to the second floor a little bit, but most of it's primarily in the one unit. So I mean, it's hard to condemn that. I mean, it's repairable, but, I mean, she's not renting it out as far as I know. It's all boarded still. I haven't
Yeah,
really been in
I
contact
noticed
with the owner lately, but it's still a pretty tender issue.
Okay.
It's been several months.
So the insurance is cleared, and
I'm sure, I don't know, I can't tell you. I haven't.
that was always the biggest problem before, is getting the insurance to
Yeah.
clear
Cough up
everything. Yeah, to cough up the money.
Yeah. Well,
Or
the
not,
only,
yeah.
referring back to my old days as a city commissioner, we designated that as the gateway
Yeah.
for the city,
Mhm.
and that's front and center
Yeah.
on Second Street. And so I guess it's of interest to me from that aspect, because it doesn't look real good, obviously. And then Dobby, I took a wild ride through the East End,
Oh.
cutting across country there one day, and I saw a couple of homes, Pond Street, Mill Street, Loeb, that there was so much stuff in the front yard you barely could see the porches. Yeah, what's the definition of clutter, I guess, as far as our
Yeah,
ordinance
I'd
is
like to know
concerned?
that too.
Clutter is, it's like scattered around wood, appliances that's just tossed out, furniture that you can tell that they're not using it as yard furniture. If they put a couch out and say, that's my yard furniture,
Well, yeah,
it's not clutter no more.
I understand.
We had a commissioner that argued that point and got that taken out.
And we had requested, when we were passing the Code Enforcement Board
Clutter.
ordinance, an update to the clutter, an update to make it more comprehensive to help our code enforcement. And included in that, we had requested that upholstered furniture that was never intended for outdoor use be considered clutter if it was on a uncovered porch or in a yard. And it was
Defeated.
defeated.
Okay.
So
That's the
we
history on
tried
that.
to.
Also mattresses, as long as the dog's laying on it, is okay.
Yes,
Oh, my
but I do want you to know, we did attempt that, and it was not approved. Because we attempted to expand the definition of clutter, because that, one of the issues that we have with upholstered furniture especially is the rot, the animals, that just, the deterioration. It shouldn't be outside in the elements. It could be on a porch that's covered, but outside, especially when it's out in the yard and stuff.
There's a couple of residences in that section, you can't even see the porch.
So,
Yeah, we had,
You're not talking about yard art, are you?
if someone lives
Well, it
next
could
door
be
that
considered by some, I
It's-
guess, as yard art.
bad.
Okay, just question.
What
'cause
about fences that are falling down? That,
I write them up if I can see it on the road. I'm not allowed on properties. So if I can't tell from the road that it's torn
Falling
down.
over.
Now, if they remove a piece, it's just an open space. But if it's like falling over on the ground on somebody else's property, and I can see it, I write it up as a accessory structure and tell them that they have to either remove it or repair it.
Thank you.
But even if they don't, we don't go in and remove it.
No.
yeah.
We just find them again and again and again.
Okay, my question really pertained to what's the law say? What's the ruling on what's considered clutter? Because I wasn't sure. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when we hit the Code Enforcement Board, we went back through our clutter ordinance and we tried to include specific items,
That we targeted as
that-
problems, yes.
upholstered furniture that was never meant for, outdoor use. We really did, and I shouldn't say unfortunately, it just did not.
So a motorcycle sitting in the front yard that the weeds are growing up through, that's rusting, part, that's not clutter.
That is, that falls under vehicles. That falls under vehicle code, so if it has.
But
to
Chairman,
do-
I can send you, tomorrow I can send the board out.
That'd be good.
Just a link to
I need to be,
the
we need to be
clutter
informed.
ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The specific word or the word that would be most descriptive of clutter is disorganized. If you have a porch full of neatly stacked items that go from the floor to the ceiling, it's not clutter if it's neatly stacked. So the big word for clutter is disorganized, but there is a specific definition, and I'll be happy to send that out tomorrow.
and there's no way to define, like pornography, yard decorations, I'm assuming. Anybody in their
John
own,
Stroud
We-
has the best quote of anything I've ever heard, and he says you cannot regulate taste.
Yeah, we're not in the business of regulating taste.
I told the city manager one time, we have an ordinance against weeds, trash, and junk, not against bad taste.
so you can put a commode in your front yard and put flowers in it.
Yeah, we've
have
had that problem
We have
before.
had that.
I know, I'm aware. That-
Yes,
That's
we've had
okay.
that.
All right, but I didn't mean to waste anybody's
No,
time, but thank you.
Nope.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
I do.
Bill?
Question in regards to buildings that have caught on fire, and I think they're boarded up, but they're not being used as far as anyone reside in there. Is there a time frame for something like that to take place, that some action needs to be done?
As long as they're not condemnable, no. You
What-
can board
Okay,
it
that's
up,
the
but
next
it's
question.
not condemnable.
What constitutes condemnable?
Safety hazards, anything that could fall or hurt a person, a human being, a place that's not inhabitable. I mean, it's,
If it's not being maintained, they've got a better, like the yards and the
Mhm.
trees and things like that, they've got a better shot at it.
But we often get comments, especially in the inner city meetings right now, where people say to us, there are garages on alleys where the windows are boarded up. Why aren't you making them put in a window? We don't have the authority to make them put in a window. And why don't you make them tear it down? Well, Steve goes and he's the building inspector, he and Jesse, they can go and assess it to see if it's condemnable, but if it's not condemnable, there's really nothing that we can do.
And Bill, you were referring specifically to other unattached buildings as far as the home is concerned, not
Correct.
not the residence, but
No,
a
this
carport or
He
a
was talking about the
garage. or-
residence.
No,
No, this was the rest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing, we can't,
Okay.
But they have to be secure.
right.
you know, people can't get in the building.
Well, I can't, I'm not gonna go on the property either. You know, so I'm not gonna go that far back, you know, it looks as if, everything around it seems neat. I think the grass is cut. I just know it burned over a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still standing there. I think it is boarded up. I think it is. Another question, abandoned vehicles.
Uh-huh.
Um,
She's the queen, she knows the law inside out.
Madison Street?
180 days.
Madison Street, like, on the street or in the yard?
Both.
In the street, there's nothing I can do, can't touch them.
Police.
That's police, that's the.
If they're
police
in the
rule.
yard and I can't prove that they're not drivable, I have to monitor 6 months.
180 days.
I have
is
to
what
take
the
a picture
commission
today, 6 months later, take the same picture, it's in the same spot.
That seems to be a trouble area. that
Oh,
I've-
wow.
I've noticed.
If it's, I can tell that it's broke, I can write it up, give them 30 days. But since I've been here, I've only had one car to have it moved.
Wow.
And that was on an abandoned property.
It's very difficult. One of the things that we do often look at is if they are tagged, like if they have current tags. Oh, but yes, abandoned vehicle.
But y'all are liable to get somebody calling y'all, because I had a guy call me today. I've got him written up, but he's not happy that I'm not moving.
Was it a vehicle or something?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you have on your list, but, you might want to check out Alvasian Plum, corner of Alvasian Plum. And this property, I think, has 3 vehicles on it. in the front yard. And the house, I think the house is vacant too.
Yeah, it's right by that corner house up on that hill, like that hill.
Oh, she's
Right across from
Yeah.
the cemetery.
Yeah. We're aware of that one.
Okay, okay.
We've received several complaints by one of the residents on that street. We've
And-
actually all driven out.
And there's another one, but I'll think I may want to talk to you if I can do this off the record. If I can do that, Mr. Chairman. My last question was, does the court enforcement have any enforcement in regards to, and I really hate bringing this up, I really do, homelessness, sleeping and living in a vehicle on a public street?
This board has nothing.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any business? Questions for city, anybody?
Could be the longest meeting.
No, we were getting
Oh, no, you haven't,
Oh, no.
John, you haven't been on this board long enough.
We've had some long
These are my short
meetings.
time here.
It
Yeah,
might be the longest uncontested.
Oh,
yeah,
Qualify it.
yeah.
Well, with those comments, this meeting is adjourned.